Get down!
Hey, yo, clap it.
Bang, bang.
I want all the Gen Z people to know that I'm as your millennial manager. I'm never gonna denigrate you, degrade you. I understand the trials and tribulations. You and me, we're not that far apart. I know you like to call me old school or unk, but literally in 5 years you'll be right where I am. But moreover, I want to say this to anybody who's out there trying to get a job in tech or whatever field it is now, because it's just not tech that's experiencing a drought. Stick to what you know. Be open to change. Be open to receiving constructive criticism. Be open to learning, and let every day be an engaging, anthropic point. Like, don't sit there idly. You can, definitely be a little somber about your situation, but every morning wash your ass and get on the grind, because no one's coming to save you. As we are going to find out in these articles, no one's coming to save you, but there are people who are prepared to receive the best version of you as long as you meet them halfway, right? So as your millennial manager, I want you to know I'm rooting for you. I don't care that you're 15 minutes late. As long as you get your work done. No, you don't have to come to the after work conference or nothing like that. And yeah, those 3 meetings at the end of your day with Cheryl, please go to them. We know that Cheryl is a boomer and she just likes to throw her authority all over the place. Just go. You don't have to turn on your camera. Just go to the meeting, okay? I appreciate you. I love you, okay? Keep up the good work. But with all that being said, not too many people have my outlook on leadership, right? It's hard to budge. My name's Hero. This is Coding with Strangers, and I want to talk about some of the things they're saying about my Gen Z kids, my boys, my girls. Why are they talking like this, reckless? It recently was brought to my attention that 25% of Gen Zers are bringing their parents to interviews with them. And I have so many thoughts on this, but I have one particular overarching theme with this, and I think it'll hold true once I read this article. This is from Business Insiders. We know where their agenda lies. They're very much so in the favor of corporations, so I expect this to be sort of denigrating and degrading towards the youthful working force. But I've said this before, and I've said it all the time. The old people that are in charge right now need to get the fuck up out the way. Go sit your old rich, I don't want to share my money, I'm mad that my grandkids don't text me back, have an ass down somewhere, okay? Go sit your goofy asses down. Just over here hogging all the wealth. You own 3 houses. You can't even walk up the stairs of your own house. You own 3 of them. Oh, that's my summer house. I can't live without it. No one cares, Bob. Ugh. But I'm just a hater, so I'm just a hater. But I was very interested to see where this goes. I wanted to kind of dissect this, and I want to kind of come at this. I'm very much going to be I'm going to speak right now. My bias is very much going to be in the favor of protecting the youth, right? Because I believe the children are our future. Treat them well and let them lead the way, right? Sexual chocolate. Gen Zers seem to be bringing parents to job interviews. It may not be as bad as it sounds.
Hey bro, I think I'm gonna head on in for the night. I'm kinda tired.
No problem. Get some rest.
Hey, didn't you work today?
12-hour shift.
And you went to the gym?
PR to 700 deadlift.
And you still got energy to do all this work? Where does the energy come from, bro?
I'm at my best when I have my zest, baby.
Get zest?
The Zest Super Berry Samba Green Tea comes packed with 135 milligrams of caffeine and L-theanine. That's how I stay focused for longer and stronger throughout the day with no crash. It's way better than coffee or any of those sugar-filled energy drinks out there. No GMO, gluten-free, and it won't stain your teeth.
Oh yeah, that sounds real good. Is this one right?
Yes, sir, that's the one. But my brother in Zest, I'm gonna need you to get your own Super Berry Samba Green Tea.
Selfish.
You mad, bro? Don't worry, I got you. Use my promotional code down below to get 20% off selected items and the subscriptions. That's Coding with Strangers, all one word. Put that in the checkout box and you'll be good to go. Thank you so much to Zest for the sponsorship. A small study suggests Gen Zers are bringing their parents along to job interviews. Who the hell wrote this before we even get started? Lindsay Dodson. Insider interview. In a resume template survey of 1,428 U.S. Zoomers, 70% said they had asked their parents for help during their job search. 26% said they had brought a parent to an interview. 26% had brought them to an interview. I'm kind of confused if they're leading us on here. Why did they bring them? Did they need a ride? Is the parents getting them a job at their facility, nepotism? Or literally, is the parent saying, get off your lazy ass and go out there and take a job? And the Zoomers are basically saying, look, there are no jobs, I promise you. And they're bringing them along to prove that there is no jobs, right? There's so many things that this could fall under. I'm super interested to see what they say. Discussing the results of the radio show report, Kim Komando said candidates once showed up to an interview for a studio position with their mother. That is just a bad sign, she said. Okay. For Gen Zers who said they had their parents as an in-person interview, oh my goodness, 37% said that they had them come into the office. 26% said the parent physically sat in the room while the interview took place, and 18% said their parent to introduce themselves to the hiring manager. Okay, this is okay. This is a problem, because once you turn the age of 15, I think in some states you can ask your parents to leave the room with you at a hospital or a clinic. You have the right of dominion, right? I remember the first time I had to ask a parent to leave the room with their 15-year-old son. Talking to the son, he's as jacked as a 15-year-old should be, just jacked. He's going through puberty, doesn't really know what his body's doing. He has these long ass limbs. His face looks like pizza, and he eats brownies and cookies all day, and he has a 6-pack, and he's a football player, wide receiver, specimen. And I'm just looking at him, and I gotta ask him some questions. You smoking? No. You drinking? No. Are you having intercourse? No. Are you passing any of your school courses? No. Okay. Mom, I need you to leave. Mom, I need you to get the hell up out of here. Oh, but that's my baby. Ma'am, two men need to have a conversation. Hopefully you can respect that. Okay. And you could see she was getting all worked up. And I was like, my nurse is going to help get you some tea. And then me and the homeboy had a conversation. And I explained to him how condoms work. Because he definitely doesn't want to figure out how babies work. But this is disturbing. 18% of the parents who came with introduced themselves. 7% said their parents even answered questions for them. Hey, yo, okay. I want to defend y'all. I really do want to defend y'all. Please. A growing trend. The sample is small, but built on previous findings that some Zoomers are happier when their parents are there to support them in finding a job. In a survey of 800 managers, directors, and executives commissioned by the student life publication Intelligence last year, 1 in 5 employees said their candidates showed up with their interview to an interview with their parents. Some employees, 39%, said that they avoid hiring recent graduates in favor of older candidates. When asked about interview behaviors, 50% said that they had young candidates ask for too much compensation, and 47% said they dressed inappropriately. Okay, so I don't know. Because now I'm thinking about some of the interviews I've been part of. And every time someone is dressed inappropriately, they've deemed inappropriately in association to their social economic status. You can't expect, like, I know there's this old adage, every man should own 3 suits: a black suit, a brown suit, and a navy blue suit, right? That old adage makes sense, it's cool, it's popular. But if you are broke, those are $300, $150 to $300 based on your size and what is available to you. Oh, go down to the swap meet. Okay, good luck finding your size, and good luck finding a matching paired suit. So like whenever a dude showed up to the interview in like jeans and like a t-shirt, I look at the position and say his job is going to be pushing patients from one point of the room to another point of the room. He doesn't need to be dressed accordingly, right? Usually they are able to pass my first test, which is the test of, like, my test is just, do they have common decency and are they curious, right? Are they curious and do they have common decency? When they come into the office, do they greet everybody? How do they shake hands? How do they make eye contact? Because once again, I'm thinking about the job interviews for up and coming, developing. I don't believe in putting standards on there. So like dressing inappropriately, and barring them not having the means to dress appropriately, that bar has to be kind of tested and wavered. I mean, they need money, right? But I can get it. I can definitely get it. These polls have limitations. Managers say they have encountered candidates doing something doesn't mean it's becoming the norm. Business Insider could not find Gen Zers on social media who said they brought their parents to interviews. Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be bragging about that on social media, right? I don't think anybody's going to be bragging about that on social media. It's also cyclic. It's also cyclic that younger generations are criticized for their every move. In 2013, the Wall Street Journal reported that a CODIS survey of college graduates, 3% of millennials said they were dragging their parents into interview rooms. Yeah, I don't think anybody my age would be willing to admit that, even if they did do it. All right? Right? The guidance and insight. While bringing parents along to an interview may set off some alarm bells, it might not be as bad as it sounds. Okay, impress me. It could provides a much needed confidence boost for young people and may be the difference between them performing well or badly. James Unifamily, a CEO, Bright Network, a platform for graduate job seekers, told BI the job market could be daunting early on. Okay, I can see this a little bit. Like, you got to remember that the Zoomers went through a pandemic, and they've been through in their earlier lives the stock market crashing and then a housing crisis currently. So the Zoomers have been through a lot, and a lot of that development for engaging in the job market, they were posed to get on their way out of college, and as they didn't have the ability to do in-person college or in-person training, that became difficult. Another thing is, when the pandemic happened, a lot of senior veteran people who said they would rather count their losses and retire versus dealing with the pandemic decided to leave. And when they left a gap where a new generation couldn't be trained by the older generation. So there is a little bit of grace, and I think a little bit of accounting for this gap, that we can give them a little bit of a mercy. But I'm shocked that the numbers were even that high. That indicates Gen Z is a generation that values guidance and experiences that parents can undoubtedly provide. Unifield said. Okay, so basically they're looking to their parents to help them decipher how to, and this kind of lines up with what I was saying. They don't know what to do because the time that they were supposed to be learning those traits was taken away from them. This makes sense. This makes sense. This makes sense. David Rice, a human resource expert at the media company People magazine, told BI Gen Z were at an age where they have been used to living with their parents for most of their lives. They naturally might seek their parents' advice and guidance when making important decisions like choosing a job, he said. Having a parent in the interview may alleviate the stress and anxiety associated with being interviewed, Rice said. Gen Zers might feel like having a present parent can help them to be more relaxed. He said it might reveal a lot about their natural communication skills and decision-making process. I don't think this is a great trait, though. I don't think someone who has to wait, I don't think someone who, depending on what the job is, the thing about this is when you end up going to a restaurant and you ask the waiter, hey, can I get barbecue sauce instead of ketchup? And they're like, can I ask the manager? I'll be right back. I'm going to ask the manager. And I'm like, no. Listen. Your manager is not going to care about you doing this. Let me tell you right now, they're not going to care about you doing this. Just give me the barbecue sauce and you can take the ketchup back. And they were like, I just have to ask because, I'm new here. And I'm just like, okay, but when you get back and they tell you it's okay, I'm going to give you a lecture because I want you to understand how important it is for you to learn how to think on your own, right? And the manager comes up and says, yeah, what's the problem? He's asking for barbecue sauce instead of ketchup. And you could see the manager. And I was like, hey, is it okay with you if I handle this for you? He was like, yeah, go ahead, sir. And he walks off. I was like, okay, so you see what your manager just did there? I'm not even an employee here. But he understands how insignificant this decision you're about to make is. Do you get that? And you could see some light bulbs going off. You could see a little bit of clarity, but you could still see this desert of uncertainty. And instead of me to scold them further, this is where it's important. You have to reaffirm them. You are in charge. You make the big boy decisions now, okay? So I'm going to ask you, take back that ketchup and let me get some barbecue sauce. And you know what this mother lover said to me? He said, would you like one or two? I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You're in charge. You're in charge. I made him come around from around the counter and give me a hug. I was so proud of him. But if this was him, if the person I'm describing was this person that I have highlighted here, they would probably want to talk to their parents more often than not at the job, further undermining their supervisor's authority or whoever's in charge. When you rely too much on your parents, you don't learn from the world. That's why birds be kicking them chicks up out the nest. Go on with your bad ass. Obvious downsides. Anecdotally, some parents are confused about why their children aren't asking them to come to their job interviews. That is weird. Helicopter parents, man. Man, this is something I never wish on anybody. I don't even like the parents who are too into their kids' sports. You know, the dad who's got the visors with the kid plays baseball and they have 7 bats for their kid. And they're just every second coaching the kid. You got to turn your hips, got to turn. I'm like, yo, just, this is Pee-wee baseball, man. Relax. During school, she was very confident she never needed me to hold her hand. One mom wrote to news.com AU advice column kid spot. Weird. I don't think of myself as a helicopter parent, so I'm at a loss as to why she would ask this. Damn. Okay, so she's saying her kid was I don't trust this parent because you're writing to a column. I don't trust you. You definitely were a helicopter mom. The fact that you want to defend that tips us off. In response to the columnist, Jordana Shell told her that Zoomers need to learn and build resilience. Yeah, but who's teaching them? This is such a dumbass thing to say. Oh, you need to build resilience. How? I can't even spell resilience. How do you want me to build it? I hate when people give them some snippet that they heard from the internet and toss it out there. How do you want people to build themselves up if you don't even give them tools? It's easy to dig a hole. It's hard without the right tools. As parents, we have to know when to let them swim alone and when to throw them a life vest. While there are some benefits, there are also obvious downsides to parents coming along to interviews with their children. For instance, parents in the room may be tempted to interfere and influence their child's response. Jenny Bayless, there's no way I would have let a parent into it. If someone brought a parent with them, that's the end of the interview. Jenny Bayless, the founder of a recruiting company, Office Wing, told BI that the way companies recruit their staff has changed over the years, particularly with the introduction of online interviews. As hirees, we cannot always be sure who is in the room, she said, but when it comes to face, we look to create an environment that brings out the best in candidates. And this is the notion that I go with. Before we start our interview, we go down to the snack room, because in the snack room we got all these snacks, and that's another thing we use to test. Are they gonna pick something up? What do they pick up? If they pick up a paper or plastic cup, will they throw it away, or will they ask or will they try and clean it? Will they put it in the dishwasher? Like, what are the steps they take? And I gotta say, everyone who cleans the dish and puts it in the dishwasher, it's an automatic second interview for you. Because who does that? Who does that? I've been begging the doctors to do that for years. Who does that? You can come work here. God bless you. They feel like the need to bring anything more than some notes with them. Bayless said she wanted to see a real person in an interview to judge whether they would fit in well with the rest of the team. And this isn't a factual thing. I hate this excuse. Oh, I'm going to meet you for one time and be able to tell if I like you and if you can fit in with my organization and team. Like, that's weird. Having a parent next to them is unlikely to bring the side out, she said. And as a parent, it would be hard not to input or try and embellish my child's answers, which for a hiree would be rather annoying. Facts. Having anyone other than the person present can skew the evaluation, Rice said. I can't imagine many employees would be comfortable with Gen Z bringing parents along to a job interview unless there's a clear reason for which is outlined ahead of the interview taking place. Yeah, especially you can't photobomb that situation scenario. No potential employer could possibly ignore the elephant in the room, she said, to recommend young job seekers try role-playing scenarios instead build their confidence. Victoria McLean, CEO of City CV Hanover Talent Solution, which coaches graduates in finding jobs, told BI that the moral support was important and practicing with parents was a great way to prepare, but she would draw a line at bringing them to the interview. Point blank facts. And in large part, I like to think that Gen Zers aren't wrong about what they are receiving. They have a certain level of stereotype. They're dealing with a group of people who, two generations of people now who probably just see them as abysmal, and they can't believe that they're actually working on their levels, because a lot of boomers aren't retiring because they don't have enough money for their own savings, so they're staying in these positions longer, and a lot of them are staying in their positions not working full percent. What do I mean by this? And this is no disrespect, but a lot of these people who are still working are working more so because of their grace, right? They don't carry the same equal workload. And that can be said about new people too, but the goal is for them eventually to reach their limit and then get to it. Gen X, they are probably predominantly the managers, millennials, middle managers for some of them. And then Gen Z are going to be considered the workhorse. So the workhorse of the group is lacking in size, lacking in knowledge and experience, and lacking in leadership. They don't have any hold heads to kind of hold their hands, as a lot of millennials are competing with them and a lot of Gen X are competing with boomers to just get them out of the way. So there is this sort of free-for-all happening right now in the workforce that a lot of people aren't really sure what's going to come of it. But I do want to make it clear that they are experiencing some sort or some level of discrimination. I think it would be called discrimination. I'm not sure what the term is I'm looking for here. But they are experiencing a little bit of pushback in the workforce, just be from stereotyping, right? Bopa said her first manager was openly degrading when talking about Gen Zers, calling them unstable and judging younger colleagues for working in coffee shops. Whew. I've had managers in the past judge me for not having furniture in my apartment. Bitch, pay me more. Could you imagine it? Well, first of all, how'd y'all get in topic? See, that's the problem. Y'all be talking too much. Why does anyone at your job know you don't have furniture? Why are you talking about that? That's the problem. The Gen Z, you guys got to stop talking. Shut the hell up. Adding that they would blame it on me being a Gen Zer who would just be lazy. Bopa added that also she's been called princess, which is I'm sure is the new take on Snowflake. Very much true. Accenture did not respond to the request for comments from the Business Insider. So we got it to this point to say what? One, Gen Zers, I still love and support you. Okay. This is Uncle Hero coming to you live and direct. You know, I'm your manager. I'm gonna take care of you. On Fridays, I'm gonna get y'all order y'all some lunch, okay? And on Saturday nights, I might invite y'all to one social lounge or bar outing, and then after that, you cannot follow me to the next event. That is where we separate, okay? Fucking came in there with bent up Air Force Ones. What are we talking about? But more importantly, at work, my goal is to make sure that the generation before me can effectively do their job, one, and two, feel safe or comfortable doing their job, right? That is the objective. That's the goal. And everything else is just an outlier because I've made it my whole ordeal not to care about other people's extenuating circumstances at work. If it's not hindering your work, I don't care about it. If it is hindering your work, then we got to have a conversation about it. But the last thing I need is someone who doesn't have the confidence to make decisions in healthcare have to call their mom. And maybe that's the reason why I don't see these things, because the jobs we work in, you would have been weeded out long before you got to me. Before you would have ever seen a patient, someone would have weeded you out. But for jobs that are much more approachable to the common person, maybe we do have to reevaluate how this thing. I'm not beyond reproach on thinking that the pandemic has caused some irreversible damage that we haven't accounted for. We haven't put any work into it, and we haven't put any mental effort into trying to help those people who suffered through that. So I definitely feel like there's going to be consequences of those things that happened in the past, and we're starting to see what they are currently right now. But with all that being said, I'm still gonna side with the Gen Zers here. Don't bring your parents to a job interview. If your parent truly does value you, they will make sure that you're mentally prepared. They're gonna get you coaches. They're gonna get you training. They're gonna make sure that you feel confident enough to do it. Whether it's training and practicing with them, getting you books on confidence, because you not having confidence is something that comes from within, right? You got to learn how to build that. Read self-improvement books, self-help books. There's a bunch of great books out there that can just really tote the line. I'll snap in a bunch of books that I thought of at the last second will pop up on the screen. Check some of those books out. Get a feel for who you are and identify what you are willing to stand on business for, right? What makes you stand on business, and whatever that is, go fight for that. But don't mind these boomers. I'm here to protect y'all, okay? I love you guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. The Manager Hero. See you on Monday. Take care. All right, we're done.